Hello everybody and welcome back to Clarkenomics. In this video we're going to talk about some basics about something that we all use, which is money. So, before we actually get to money, let's talk about an alternative to money. A barter system. You probably likely know what this is already, but essentially a barter system is a system where people don't use money, essentially. People trade items for other items instead of using money. So this is possible, it can be done, but it's not ideal. It's not efficient, right? Because, well, let's think about what it requires. In order to make a trade with somebody, you have to have what they want, and they have to have what you want. And, if you search around long enough, you might find somebody, where these conditions are met for both of you, but it's going to take you a lot of time to go find somebody, right? So that's one reason why it's inefficient. The other reason why it's inefficient is people might value the thing that you have differently. So, one person might give you, here we go, like some bananas, and the other person might want to offer you a turkey, right? It's kind of strange. So, generally speaking, the big problem with barter systems is they rely on a double coincidence of wants, meaning, again, that each person has to have what the other person wants. And the time that we're going to spend looking for the person that satisfies that condition is wasteful. We could just use money instead. So now let's talk about money. So, there are three generally understood uses of money. The first one is the obvious one, the one that you already know, the one that you do all the time. Money is what we call a medium of exchange. And what that means is that money can be used to buy things. That's why we care about money in the first place, right? It can be used to get us the things that we want. And the reason, again, why it's so much more efficient than a barter system is because money is universal. You don't have to search out somebody who's interested in money because everybody uses it. We can understand that I have this money, it's accepted everywhere, so I can just go get the things I need because everybody takes this one thing. So money serves as a medium, a tool that can be used to make exchanges instead of having a barter system. So that's really helpful. The second use of money is very important as well. The second use of money is that it serves as a store of value. And essentially, what that means is that money keeps its value, generally speaking, over time. Good money does, right? Meaning that if you are given money, you don't have to spend all of it right now. You can do this thing called saving. And if you save that money, it's going to retain, it's going to keep its value to be used later on in the future. So the alternative to this, like let's say you're using a barter system, and if you were a baker and you baked cakes and you used cakes to try to trade for stuff, well, you wouldn't want to bake a cake 4 months in advance, for something you'd want to buy. You'd have to bake the cake and then try to trade it right away. And the problem with that is if you didn't find somebody who wanted a cake, then that cake would go bad. The cake would not be a good store of value. Money, as we understand money, is a good store of value. Even though there is this thing called inflation, which chips away at the value of money to some degree, good money keeps its value over time, so you can save it and you can use it later when you need it. The third one, and probably the most difficult of all of these to understand, is that money serves as a unit of account. So, listen carefully to this one because this is the one that students get most confused about. We use inches, we use miles to measure distance, we use pounds to measure weight. We use money to measure value. That's what we mean by unit of account. Money is a measuring tool used to measure value. So if I ask you how valuable is this thing, you could tell me how many dollars it's worth, right? Dollars are the same as inches or miles or pounds. They're just something that humans have come together and, artificially decided to agree upon. And not all humans, right? I mean, just like some people use inches, other people use centimeters, some people use dollars, some people use euros, right? There are different units of measurement when it comes to money, but money, generally speaking, is a measuring tool that we use to measure value. And that standardization is really important because we can make easy comparisons, right? If we see two products next to each other and one costs $5 and one costs $3, right away we can determine how much we'd have to give up or the value of each thing, as opposed to, let's say, one good you had to trade a cake for, the other good you had to trade a turkey for, right? It would be hard to make those comparisons of value, and they'd be different for different people. And the final reason why this matters is prices, which is what we are talking about here. They send signals, right? We've talked about this when we did markets. They influence people's behavior. For instance, buyers really like low prices and sellers really like high prices. And if we didn't have money, this whole system would be much more cumbersome, much more difficult. So money allows us to buy things, hold on to value over time and buy things later, and it serves as a measuring tool that can tell us about the value of the things that we want. So those are the three uses of money. Next, we're going to talk about the characteristics of money. And some types of money might really meet these characteristics, other ones might fail on a couple of accounts, but good money meets all of these characteristics. So first things first, good money should be durable, right? That means it lasts a long time. If it's going to be a store of value, it should be, something that's not going to fall apart right away. So paper money does have a shelf life. It doesn't last forever. It gets used and gets torn and eventually isn't good anymore and they replace it. Coins generally last for a very long time. You want your money to last for a long time if it's going to serve as a good store of value. Second, it's portable, which means you can take it with you, right? If the only thing that we are accepting as money is, giant blocks of lead, well, those are going to be very heavy. They're not going to be very easy to take around with you from place to place. Good money, is lightweight, is small. You can take it with you to buy things. Next, good money is divisible, meaning you don't have to take the exact amount with you that you need. You can make change. We can divide these things. So a dollar can be broken up into 100 units called pennies, right? Cents. And so good money is divisible. Next, it is uniform. What we mean by this is that it's all the same. I don't need a certain, dollar. Any dollar with a George Washington made by our government is good enough for me. Money is all the same. That's what makes this system so efficient, is that we can just not have to worry like, oh, okay, is this a good dollar? Is this a bad dollar? No, it's a dollar. We know what we're getting. That makes this much more efficient. Next, good money is limited. What that means is that there is a fixed amount available. That's one of the things that gives money its value. Because if money were unlimited, if we could make as much of it as we wanted to, it would not have any meaningful value. So when you limit the supply of something, that holds up its value. So good money is limited as well. Otherwise, it's just play money. It's not going to be very valuable. But the most important one of any of these, this is the most important characteristic of money, is that it is acceptable. Meaning, people recognize its value and will take it. Why is that important? Well, it's important because if no one's accepting your money, which means it can't buy anything, that money is no good, right? The whole purpose of money is to be able to use it as a medium of exchange to buy things. So, if you go to a foreign country with your currency and nobody takes that currency, it's not going to be very valuable no matter what number or what president is on that bill. Good money has to be acceptable and recognize that it's valuable. So, moving on to the next thing, types of money. There are three basic types of money here we're going to go through. Some are more common, some are less common. Let's start with a historical one that's not very common today, commodity money. So commodity, if you remember the word from perfect competition in our market structures video, a commodity is something that is standardized. It is the same. So for instance, gold bars, right? Gold bars could be an example of commodity money. Commodity money is an object that has value of its own outside of being used for money. So again, gold bars. What can gold be used for? Well, gold can be used to make jewelry. Gold is a good conductor of electricity. It has uses outside of being money. But if we were using gold bars as money, that would be an example of commodity money. So in history, lots of things have been used as commodity money. Pelts in early America, cigarettes in World War II prison camps. Lots of things have served as money, even though they don't appear as paper bills or metal coins. Okay, next we have representative money. Representative money, which is also sometimes called commodity-backed money, is money that can be exchanged for some valuable commodity. This is a little tough to understand, but let's imagine for a second that we were using gold as commodity money, like blocks of gold. Well, gold fails a couple of those tests from the previous slide, right? Gold might be durable, but it's not very portable. It's not very easy to carry around large amounts of gold. Not only that, it's not very divisible, right? You can't just like shave off a little bit of gold when you need it very easily. And so that's problematic. But what if instead of making people carry gold blocks around, we used pieces of paper that represented certain amounts of gold? That's what representative money does. And the United States used to have gold certificates. So our money used to look a little bit like what you see here. This is a gold certificate. If you look carefully, it says gold certificate there, and it says United States of America $50 in gold coin, payable to the bearer on demand. So essentially, with this, you could exchange this gold certificate for a certain amount of gold, like physical gold, from the US government. So instead of everybody having to carry gold around, we just carried around pieces of paper that represented that gold. It's divisible, it's more portable, it passes the test in a couple of ways where gold kind of failed the test. So that's representative money. It's using some kind of stand-in for a commodity. Okay, that one sometimes gives students a hard time. The final type of money is fiat money. A fiat is like a government decree, essentially like the government saying, like laying down a rule, laying down a law. So fiat money is money that we say has value because the government says it has value. And this kind of money isn't really backed by any commodity. Like those gold certificates that you see on the screen, those are backed by bars of gold. Um, Fiat money is not backed by anything, just our faith in it and our acceptability of that currency. So dollar bills today and our currency today is all fiat money. It is not backed by any kind of commodity, gold or otherwise. And so at the top, you can see now our bills say Federal Reserve note. The government and the Federal Reserve has said that this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private, meaning you have to accept it. And so that's what gives money its value. The government saying, hey, you need to accept this, so people accept it in exchange for products, and that's what gives money its value. So these are three different types of money. Commodity money is a thing, that has its own value outside of being used as money. Representative money is like a piece of paper or a coin being a stand-in for some other commodity that's easier to transport. And fiat money is money that simply the government says, hey, you guys need to accept this. It's valuable. So we just take that with faith and say, okay, this is valuable money. So those are the types of money, and that's just a little bit about money in general. Thank you for watching.